Things just got real for the Canucks and their players with the team's training camp scrimmage leaving some big decisions to be made, along with lots to look forward to this preseason. We're going to be breaking down all of that in this episode of Canucks Digest, but first make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you don't miss any updates surrounding the Canucks as we hit this preseason. We're trying to get to 4,500 by the start of the preseason, so you guys have helped us immensely in the past when we've had some goals, so make sure to smash that subscribe button and help us get to our mark. But with that, let's hop into the first topic of the day, which is Team Blue versus Team White. And today in Penticton, BC, the Canucks did have their training camp scrimmage with Team Blue versus Team White, where we have a collection of Canucks who played together. We have a mixture of the new blood and the old blood as far as the new prospects and the new draft picks and the old vets of this Vancouver Canucks roster. You see there with Team Blue where you have guys like Hronek and Garland playing with guys like Lekkerimaki and DPD, bringing in some new guys as well with Derek Forbort on there. So you have a nice blend here where the teams were pretty evenly matched and you had some pretty good matchups, and you got a chance to see some teammates play together that normally don't get a chance to play together, specifically the rookies playing with these pro guys when they're probably not going to be playing with them when they go down to Abbotsford or back to their other minor teams. We're going to get to all those moves later on in this video as far as all the cuts moves are concerned. As far as cuts, we mean just moving them back down to Abbotsford or to their minor teams. But we see there where we have a nice look at the rosters there. And as far as the scoring went, you did have the first goal scored by Mark Freeman in the first period. And then Connor Garland made it 2-0 with a nice goal that he slid under the pads of Tolopilo, and it was a pretty interesting one. We had some great goaltending play, specifically by Artur Shilovs, who it just stood out and made a name for himself and just make sure that he is going to be one of the Canucks leading goaltenders heading into the season. He definitely looked very much goalie 1A ready in this game, especially compared to a lot of the other goalies that we have on this team until Thatcher Demko does come back. Shilovs is definitely our best option without a doubt. It was going into this scrimmage, it was more of a question of will he be ready to make that jump as the goalie 1A, at least to start the season. And after seeing this scrimmage, I don't have a single doubt in my mind that he is going to be ready to do that. There was a lot of missed opportunities, especially one by DPD where he did give up a puck to Danton Heinen. Thankfully, Shilovs was able to shut it down, but he did show those flashes of the playoff Shilovs that we saw last season and is ready to just continue that on into this season where he has his full first season with this Vancouver Canucks roster. That's going to be awesome to see. And the third goal that was scored in the game was by Carson Soucy to make it a 2-1 lead for Team Blue. Unfortunately, that was not enough to get the W as Team Blue did come away with the victory. We saw a lot of great things happen on both sides of the puck all around. And one of the things that Vancouver really did want to focus on was the power play. We saw last season how the power play and the penalty kill was one of our biggest problems as far as losing games that where those points would have definitely mattered. And we saw that they were able to stretch the special teams. If you want to take a look at the lines, we're not going to go through all of them, but the ones that do stand out, this is what they were running in the scrimmage and what they're going to be running for the preseason as far as the power play lines are concerned. And we see there in the top two units, you have Brock Boeser, JT Miller, Pia Suter, Danton Heinen, and Quinn Hughes. That's a solid top unit. And then you got Kiefer Sherwood, Connor Garland, Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, and Filip Hronek. That's going to be really interesting to see because Connor Garland, his line mate is Dakota Joshua. So if he was healthy, we know he is thankfully recovering from that procedure that he had. So Kiefer Sherwood is going to be that physical stand-in as a result for the preseason. So that'll give Garland a chance to have some of that rapport with Sherwood and develop something. And as well, you got guys like Jake DeBrusk and Elias Pettersson. So you're going to have some speed and finesse on that power play unit, along with the physicality of Filip Hronek and Kiefer Sherwood. So that's going to be interesting to see. That third unit as well with Aatu Ratu as well mixing in with some of those guys. We see a bit more of a younger unit there. And then the fourth unit really holding down with Jonathan Lekkerimaki, who we definitely want to see make a splash on that power play unit. He is known to make things happen on the power play, and I don't have a single doubt in my mind that he's going to try and make a splash on that power play unit during the preseason. That's going to be awesome to watch just because of Lekkerimaki alone. So definitely keep an eye out for that heading into the preseason, especially when that's some of the things that we definitely needed to work on heading into this season. But what do you guys think down below? What did you guys think of the game? Did you guys watch it? What did you think about the young stars mixing in with the old vets? And what do you guys want to see going forward as far as the preseason is concerned? Let us know down in the comments down below. But that's going to take us into our second topic of the day, which is tough cuts. And we see here in one of the first roster updates of the following players that have been released from their respective ATOs and PTOs and will report to Abbotsford. You see there where you have a few guys right there if you want to pause and take a look. Then we have some other players as far as the goalies go, where they were released as well from their, with Dylan Ferguson being one of them that was released from his PTO. And then we go into further with as far as the other roster update as other players who have been assigned to Abbotsford, Josh Bloom and Ty Glover. Josh Bloom is somebody that Mark and I are both pretty high on, as well as one of our up-and-coming prospects. He did help Saginaw win the Memorial Cup this past season, so definitely look forward to him in Abbotsford this season. He'll be one of those players to watch try and make a splash with Manny Malholtra's squad. And then following players have been assigned to their junior clubs. Parker Alkos, Anthony Romani, my number one guy as far as prospects go. I know Lekkerimaki is Mark's, mine is Romani. So yes, he's going to have one more year down in the juniors, but I think he's going to maybe take that a little bit, not personally, but he's going to go into another season with his OHL team with a chip on his shoulder and try and just make even more of a splash than he already did after leading the OHL last season in points. So definitely look forward to see what he's going to do in the regular season in the OHL, as well as Riley Patterson with the Barrie Colts. He was someone who did make a nice splash in training camp and did have a very nice camp. Apparently it wasn't enough to remain on the roster and make the Abbotsford roster, but again, just one more year with the OHL, then he makes that jump to Abbotsford, and then we'll see where he goes from there. But then we have our remaining forwards that we have left with the Vancouver Canucks roster. You got, of course, the usual suspects and some that are fitting in there that some might not have expected. You got Arshdeep Bains, Klimovich, Heinen as well, obviously, Höglander, obviously, Lekkerimaki. And then we have some other ones. Atu Ratu is sticking around, Linus Karlsson is sticking around, and some other guys. We kind of saw these come as Sammy Blaze, a PTO who did stick around. However, that was one that was a nice surprise to see, especially when we know the physical impact he is going to have on this team as a big physical forward. So that's going to be nice to see going into this preseason as far as where he's going to fit on this team and if he makes the full roster by the start of the regular season. And when you look at the remaining defensemen that are left, of course, you got Jet Wu, Carson Soucy, Filip Hronek, DPD, Elias Pettersson, who a lot of people are saying he does need a little bit more experience in the AHL before he is NHL ready. So this is more just prepping him for that season in the AHL and just maybe getting him some games here and there. Probably not more than 5 or 6 games in the NHL this season, if I'm taking a generous guess, because this roster is going to be stacked going forward. We have Kudraevtsev, who had a great training camp as well with the young prospects. He was one who definitely stood out. So there's a lot of guys, and Friedman as well, making a name for himself in this scrimmage alone. So these are some guys, especially on this defensive roster, where the defensemen that are sticking around are almost as impressive as far as the young guys go than the forwards that are sticking around. We have a lot of really good talent that is going to be sticking around on this Vancouver team and in this Abbotsford system for a little bit, and that's going to be nice going forward as far as their future is concerned. And when we look at the remaining goalies as well, Yuri Patera, Shilovs, Demko, Lankinen, who we just brought in, Tolopio, and Ty Young. The last two did get their experience in the scrimmage in the later half of the game. Tolopio did have a bit of a rough outing, getting outdanced by Connor Garland. Ty Young did play a solid game. And then, of course, you have Archie Shilovs, who was just dominant. Thatcher Demko, of course, we know the story with him. If you didn't see Mark's update, you can just check that out on our channel. It's right down there as well. And then Yuri Patera as well, who we brought over from Vegas. That's going to be somebody who is someone to watch as far as the preseason goes, because he's going to try and make a name for himself as far as being that 1B goalie or the 2 goalie or maybe the emergency number 3 goalie once Thatcher Demko is healthy. So as far as the preseason is concerned, it's going to be an interesting battle to see between Tolopio, Young, and Patera as far as who's going to be that backup for Archer Shilovs to start the season and that number 3 goalie when Thatcher Demko is fully healthy. But what do you guys think of the cuts that the Vancouver Canucks made? Well, not cuts, as far as reassignments and some PTOs that they did let go. Let us know down in the comments below. But that's going to take us into our third topic, which is everyone's favorite topic, and that is comment of the day. And we see here from the Blazers fan 22 that he is so excited. He's got his home opener tickets for the Canucks versus Calgary. See you guys there if anyone's going. And Mark might potentially be going to that game, so definitely keep a lookout for him. If you guys are at the game, definitely go up, say hi to him. We'd love to see people interact with us in the wild. If anybody is watching from Windsor, if you see me out in the wild, don't be afraid to say hi. We always love interacting with fans when we get recognized anywhere we go. But that's going to do it for this episode of Canucks Digest. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. It's free, but that's going to do it for this episode. I've been your host, Griffin. Take care.